Action Comics 1069, Gail Simone writing, and Eddie Barrows on the art, wrapping up her three issue, I should say, arc.
Yeah.
So no, I've been enjoying this arc. I think it's a cool little throwback story. I know you weren't as hot on it last time we spoke about it, but I kind of like the third person narration. I like how sort of more, I don't know, just kind of Bronze Agey it feels. Kind of tickles my an itch that I didn't know I had.
It feels old fashioned, and old fashioned is not that's not derogatory.
No,
right?
no.
It feels like when you go into like an old style, like we have a custard place out here that you go into, and it looks like it's straight from the 50s. Right, that's kind of what this feels like. It gets all the ambiance and down to the way that Gail's choosing to tell the story. It borrows from that heavily.
Yeah. I mean, custard should have stayed in the 50s, frankly, but that's
okay. When I say custard, it's frozen custard. So it's the main difference is it's just heavier ice cream, right? There's less air, so it's, oh my god, it's so good.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have like tons to say about the story here per se. It's it's kind of like, he's got one last big fight. It's a gladiatorial style fight, and the main villain's like getting pissed that his crowders chanting for Superman, that people on Earth are rooting for Superman. He doesn't get why Superman's, because he goes to see Superman before the fight, and he's like, "You asked to summon me. What do you want, you puny Earthling Kryptonian person?" And he's like, "I thought I'd give you one last chance to surrender." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, I love the third person narration there from Simone. Just says, "And for the first time, he was a little worried." Like the fact that Superman gave him that option to surrender, even though Superman's the one who's been beat to shit. He can barely stand. He clearly does not look like he's in the prime of his life right now.
Superman's playing hit games.
Oh dear.
And also that the main champion, right, is Adaxamite, which is you know, light Kryptonian. It's Kryptonian light. And I was shocked that the lead, considering this is taking place over Earth, that the lead weakness didn't come into play at all. So props to Gail for finding other ways around it.
Well, we were never on Earth, we're in an alien ship after all, so presumably there is no lead. I mean that was the cliffhanger last time. They said, "Hey, get the Daxamite." That was what we ended on. But Huxer.
Yep. Huxer. That's how I was reading it. Yeah.
I feel like when I say Huxer, I feel like I'm almost saying whore. Like and I don't. It doesn't sound right.
I think it's just your accent.
Huxer.
Huxer.
Anyway, Lois goes to see him and tries to say, "Hey, could you please not kill Superman? Like technically you're a prisoner of this asshole too. Like maybe you shouldn't play into his game."
Aren't you guys on the same side at the end of the day? And this guy's having none of it because he loves to fight.
Yeah. But of course he does get inspired by Superman by that. I actually love, because you only get a sort of tease of what it looks like when Lois goes to see him. You see him from behind, he's in shadow, whatever. When you get the full reveal of him at the start of the fight when Superman sees him, I kind of dig that he looks a little bit like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. There's like electricity behind him. He's got the long white hair. His red eyes are glowing. He's also got the sort of claw thing as well, but like he's got a bit of like a Raiden-y kind of look to him that I kind of appreciated. Which also, because Lois and Jimmy were sneaking around, Superman needed seconds, so a Thanagarian and some other dude like volunteered to come and be seconds, and basically just the whole joke with them is basically hit him in the balls, hit him between the legs. That's where his manhood is.
It's the rules. Hit him in the nuts. Yeah. So the other guy's a Kund, and those guys are always just essentially shock troops, right? So the fact that
I'm sorry. Kund also sounds kind of offensive. Like I'm sure it isn't, but it sounds like it is.
Yes. Khund. So, So just the fact that these two kind of grunts. So of course their main thing is to hit him in the bikini region. I thought that was very funny.
It's interesting. Like they're fighting quite back and forth. Superman looks like he's down at one point, and he sort of climbs out of the rubble, and everyone's like, oh, right. But the Superman points out that there's some kryptonite. Like the Daxamite has kryptonite on him, and it's something he didn't know was Superman's weakness, or like it was basically the main bad guy had ensured that it wasn't a fair fight. And this is actually kind of like what inspires, or well, it kind of puts him off guard, but it's kind of like a big thing that like stops him from just wanting to win. Is the idea that he was kind of winning by cheating?
Yeah, and it goes against his honor as a warrior.
Yeah, And meanwhile, Lois and Jimmy free Kandor, which is bottled elsewhere in the
How many
spaceship.
times have we had a unbottling of Kandor?
It's happened at least twice this year.
Yeah.
So it is something they go back to the well on a bit too often, I think. Yeah. But especially since I don't think they really needed it here. Like like after Superman like punched them down, I could have just seen like the Daxamite being like, you know what, I accept my defeat with honor. Like Superman won, right? Up to yours, Mr. Villain.
And yeah, I also like the idea of Kandor just representing Superman, right? So them just getting Kandor back would be enough for Superman to, you know, do the inspirational thing that he does without, you know, all these Kandorians behind them. Yeah. So
yeah, it just bookends the end of the you know the story with him going back to Black Lightning to help with the kids. Yeah. You know, so yeah, it was nice. It was a nice story. I like the art. I like the heavy inks. I liked how kind of old school it felt. I mean, the art felt very 90s to me, and then the writing felt very Bronze Age, and I was kind of digging that by and large. I think it was the right length. It didn't overstay its welcome. And next time on Superman, or in Action Comics, I should say, we're basically doing what we did with Detective a couple of years ago. Remember when we did the Tower? It was like 12 weekly issues. Yep. We're doing that with Mark Waid. We're doing 12 weekly issues. So that's kind of cool.
So we had Jason Aaron, Williamson, and then Gail, and now we're getting Waid for 3 months.
Yeah, but Waid came in and said, I'm not doing 3, I want 12.
Right.
And they said,
I'm doing
fine,
12.
Fine, we'll make it weekly so it can fit.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. There is a backup as well, though. I've not been reading the backups you have.
Yeah. So this basically is just Lois and Clark having a conversation at the Daily Planet globe. And Superman is, you know, basically saying, like, you kind of hurt my feelings because you made me feel less of not even less of a man, just less of a person because of the ethical questions of him reporting the exploits of Superman as Clark Kent, right? But then she tells him, like, I just didn't pull you because of that. I thought you could actually write really good human interest stories, because that's the thing that he was on. Because and Lois reasons with him that you look at humanity and people in a different way, and no one writes human interest stories like Clark Kent, because you have a love and fondness for people, and that shows in your writing, you know. So yes, you know, and so it basically ends at the point where Lois and Clark both, you know, not agree to disagree, but they come to an understanding that no matter what they do, because of who they are, there's always going to be ethical violations, right? Because of, you know, Superman having his job as Superman, as Clark, and then himself as Kal-El, and then them being married. There's just no way around it, so you just gotta lean into it. So Clark's going to end up doing both, but there's this really nice scene where they're talking in I'm trying to get to it, where she, you know, that's where she tells him that he's a good writer and whatnot, and that she realized, like, the reason that the Atomic Skull story didn't go as well is because deep down Clark cares, and that he's not going to be able to pay attention to everything that's going on while he's doing Superman stuff, right? So the stories are always going to be a little bit off. But yeah, and that he views Metropolis from a different lens. So at the end, Lois is like, yeah, I can be the editor-in-chief. It's tough, you know. And he's like, yeah, but, you know, what was her name? That's right here. Mariposa, who was the writer that got put there, the up-and-coming guy or lady, that she can just finish the Atomic Skull story. Clark's not going to do it. And Mariposa's turned it down because of a conflict of interest, because Superman saved her from Atomic Skull. And he looks down at Lois and is like, hey, could you imagine you recusing yourself every time? He's like, you wouldn't even have your Pulitzer anymore. And Lois kind of shoves him in the chest and is like, not funny. But, you know, she goes, maybe you can't finish the story and get a comment from Superman while you're at it. So it's just this nice, you know, couple-page story about kind of their relationship and where it kind of stands for work, and, you know, Superman and Clark being the same person while being married to the boss. And yeah, so it handled everything really well. The art is pretty decent. Who's the artist here? It is it's Ian Tormey. So it's kind of house styley, but because it's all at night on the Daily Planet roof, you get a lot of blues on the city backdrop, and the kind of the climax of the issue is where you get the classic Superman Lois kiss while he's hovering, but the Daily Planet globe's right behind them. So it looks super nice. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed these 3 issues of the backup. A little bit more than the main, but it's probably just because it's more of a personal story. And yeah.
All right, what you rating Action Comics?
I'm gonna give this I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's about fair. I'm tempted to go with that. Yeah, you know what? I like the art. I'm going to go with 8 as well, for this one as well.